Welcome to more Gran Turismo 7 Specialtatin. Today we're featuring what is most likely the current weekly race A, which yet again is the pick between a few supercars and hypercars at Route X, and I picked the Viper, as I did over 50 times before between of the times this race happened in the past, and given that I don't have PlayStation Plus anymore, and given that I don't like this race anymore, no point at all in even thinking about doing it for the current iteration of it, because it's literally the same as it was in the past. To give a little bit of a caveat, I can't remember the exact amount, but I mean, genuinely, really and truly, I did this event over 50 times, or at the previous iterations it was around. The one time I actually won in the Viper, it's uploaded, and frankly that wasn't even an entertaining race, because frankly this is the one and only time this was truly entertaining race that was worth specialtating. Over 50 attempts, this is the one time that's actually interesting, so there's a bit of a caveat. Yeah, folks, you know my thoughts about this race. In every way, it's terrible. I'm not really going to get into the absolute negatives of it, because I've probably spent over an hour talking about this race, or that one time there was even the Nations Cup variant of it too. You can go back and look at that if you want. But yeah, most likely this race is back. I'll go ahead and upload this pretty much as the race becomes live. So obviously it's not specialtating a race from this time around, but it's the same cotton picking thing. It really is. And I mean, for now, it doesn't even really look all that bad. If you're the first time ever seeing this race, of the footage that's being shown, it's not really all that bad. It's nice, close, clean racing between a whole heck of a heap of cars. But this is also still the very beginning of it. No turns have happened yet. It's all been full throttle. And frankly, I'm all for oval racing and such, but I don't really understand the appeal of Route X and cars that top out like this without all that powerful draft. In Route X, they could easily have cars going over 300 miles an hour. And there's actually more strategy too, because they could have nitro where they don't top out. With this, without nitro, about their top speed is 265, give or take. And then with nitro, they top out pretty quickly at around 280. But then some cars top out at a little bit more than others. So once you're on a nitro, some cars are downright weaker. And the Viper is one of those. And you get at least one of those having in the background per race. So, yeah, I mean, as I said, without the nitro, the Viper is about as even as the others, but with nitro, this race, frankly, ain't all that fair, because the Viper tops out around 5 miles an hour slower than something like the Mercedes AMG, or the white Mazda RX-7 does. There's two different iterations of the RX-7. There's a white one and a red one. I can't remember the exact differences of them, but the white one is more competitive. Well, I mean, for now, again, where no one is using nitro, actually managed to have a lead. But also, if however you want to go about it, but at the very end of the race, so is the driver and sportsmanship rating of everyone in the race. And I'll just say, luckily, race A has no driver rating differences. I'll put it like that. So there's probably a reason that I'm able to lead this particular. Can I do something? Can I get it? No. And now I'm getting railroaded. There was a reason why I was leading this particular race. I'll put it like that. You can go to end and look at that. So, yeah, I mean, there's still someone a chance of winning, because frankly, I do believe I'll do kind of a fast forward a bit on this. I do think of the momentum that they were able to carry. Theoretically, I could have tried to block there. Probably in hindsight, I should have. But I knew that there were quite a few cars there, and I didn't really want to end up making quite a few cars mad at me. If it was just like 2, probably would have tried for the block, but I knew there were quite a few, so I didn't want that many people mad at me. But nonetheless, this is fast forwarded, obviously. But I still think of the momentum that all those cars carried, that someone in there was using nitro. Whether it was someone drafting, pushing the car in front using nitro, or it was the car in front, I'm not 100% sure. I don't think that Bugatti that's right by me was using nitro, given the speed difference there, and I don't think the car that's behind me was, but one of those up there I'm pretty sure was to get that much momentum. But now I have to time it for when I start using my nitro, and hopefully it works out. Then I make the right call. I'm using the nitro here. Using it before the Bugatti, or actually the Bugatti did use some, and it seems like I'm actually using it before everyone. Holy, I was right. There was at least somebody up there using nitro, and I think it might have been both, or they just downright screwed up on when to use it, or I really downright screwed up and I'm using it too early. Y'all can make the call on that. But I will say that this is probably at least 30 races into the 50 that I did, so I mean, pretty consistent using nitro at that point. Not so consistent of turning the car. No, not so consistent. Look at the red dot, folks. There was never a point in which I wasn't turning right. And yet, y'all already saw it before, looking at the dot. Car turned a bit left, to say the least. And that's with all of the driver aids on. I was turning right, the car turned left. So, yeah, it generally in real time looked like I just let that driver by, but I was generally turning right the entire time. I could have tried to force it and turn even more right, but look at how much all the driver aids were blinking. Blinking a whole heck of a heap. Like, it was blinking just even on average, and even the bit more that I turned there, they were already blinking a whole heck of a heap. It's hard to really show it in just this view, but as of driving the car, I could feel it. I was on the very brink of spinning out. Again, it's not really all that easy to see, but just trust me on it. I was on the very brink of spinning out. I could not have turned harder, or else I would have just spun out completely, most likely, or at the very least, and still pretty unlikely, I would have been able to catch it and still lose a whole heck of heap of momentum. The Viper in this one both doesn't have the nitro top end, because as you could see, that Mercedes passed me pretty easy. Granted, the Mercedes does have draft, but still, I think you can make a fair assumption that it still passed me a lot easier than it should have even given the draft. Granted, again, my car was way too loose, and it should be there, but still, it passed me easier than it should have a draft, because the car's pretty much, at least the Viper was, to its top speed anyway. Or at least top speed for the turn, because the turn obviously has a bit less momentum than what's on the straightaway, but now I have the drafts, and maybe, just maybe, the leader used up too much nitro, so let's see what I can do. Absolutely nothing. Also, I paused that pretty much perfectly. Look at how much nitro is left. I can't see any left. Again, I'm legally blind. It's still showing I'm using it, but I couldn't see any of that bar left. I timed the nitro perfectly, and I mean, for the entire time, my car was turning right in the right turn, and well, I still got left in the dust, to say the least. I think I made all the right decisions I could, but the Viper in this race is always just left in the dust. One time in over 50 attempts, yes, I was able to win, and that video is still on the channel if you want to see it. But this time around is genuinely the most entertaining race I had, and the most to talk about as well. And look at the driver and sportsmanship ratings. The top other than me in the race of driver rating is C, and finished second to last. Yeah, folks. Even of a previous iteration of this, when theoretically less people were tired of it. Well, actually, you can see when it's ran up there, right? Yeah, there you go. That's when it was ran. Previous iteration of it. No one higher than a C driver rating, other than me, was running it. Obviously, I'd be getting top split for this, given the field I'm in. This is the top split. I have a feeling it's the only split. Even of the previous iteration ran when it was, I can't see that again legally blind, but hopefully y'all can. Top split. Probably only split. Yeah. That ain't particularly the dandiest. But I mean, overall, this individual race, hopefully y'all enjoyed the Specialtatin, because it was interesting. There was the crash, like there always is. There was strategies with Nitro. There was me leading in a Mopar for a while there. And there was enough to talk about for the Mopar itself. By far, the most competitive car in this is the Mercedes. It's really big and stable. It has the most top end. It still has pretty good acceleration off the start. And overall, there's nothing all that close to it. The white RX-7's pretty good. It has good top end, but it's harder to drive. And the Hyra is carrying better momentum around the turns, and some people can actually get a better qualifying lap with that, but less top end with the Nitro. At least to me, by far, the Mercedes is the best car here, but at least I was able to get one win in a Mopar and one entertaining race. Granted, I did use the Mopar the entire time, so you can take that as you may. But overall, at least, hopefully, this individual race, and one in over 50, was worth a yeehaw.